Good evening, good evening. It's great again to see you in the month of July. This is Leadership and Team Essentials, bringing you leadership nuggets. My name is Millicent Kaunda, and I want to believe you've been keeping safe even as we wait on the disappearance of COVID-19. Thank God for you that you can tune in today. And last time we were looking at various issues when we did our first leadership nugget. And remember, as we were ending, we said that leaders are not born, leaders are made. And we ended by saying that for you then to be made, you have to endeavor to develop yourself. It's deliberate. It does not just happen in a vacuum. It is deliberate. And today again, we want to look at the next nugget. How can you grow from an organization from a point where you are at to a higher level? What makes the difference between one organization and another, that you find they could be operating in the same environment, they are affected by the same environmental factors, but one organization will take a leap while the other will remain dormant or even start a downward trend? We are also going to look at a few things that influence, or a few factors that influence our success. What is the secret of success? And so today we just want to check out and find what is this thing that will make an organization leap, one organization leap and not the other. Now, these are questions that every sober leader want to ask themselves, because a leader will always want to be successful in what they put their hands to do. Nobody who calls themselves a leader will want to remain dormant or want to march on the same spot. They want to keep advancing, and keep growing, even in their organizations. And every CEO of an organization wants to take that organization to higher heights. Why? Because it gives them the self-actualization. It gives them the satisfaction when they're able to take their organizations to higher heights. Now, success will always come through three stages, or three things that must be looked into, or factors that you need to put into consideration if you are going to take a leap as an organization or as a leader. And these three things are namely disciplined people, disciplined thoughts, and disciplined actions. Wherever there are disciplined people, you will find people progressing. There will definitely be progress. Whenever you find disciplined people who have disciplined thoughts, then they'll definitely be moving forward. And finally, we say disciplined actions. So these are three things that are required in an organization for it to move from one level to another, or as Jim Collins calls it, for it to move from good to great. A leader who is able to take an organization from one level to another is this leader who is able to put the interest of the organization ahead of their own interest. And I want to make you know, dear leader, that not all leaders or not all people who occupy senior positions have the interest of the company or the interest of the institution, the interest of the organization as at heart. Neither do they put it ahead of themselves. Most of the time, they put their own self-interests ahead of the interest of the organization. For you to be able to move an organization from level 1 to level 3 or level 5, then you need to be that kind of a leader who puts the interest of the organization ahead of their own interest. In other words, your values as a leader must be congruent to the values of the organization, such that as you wake up every morning and you go to put your leadership into practice, you're asking yourself, what am I going to do so that today, by the end of day, this organization will not be at the same place I found it in the morning? Note, you are saying, what am I going to do? Not what does someone need to do. It is what am I going to do? And when you put it into yourself and ask yourself, what am I going to do? Then you will find yourself working on the interest of the organization and putting it ahead of everything. Now, Jim Collins, who is an author of a very interesting book, it's called From Good to Great, calls such a leader who is able to put their interest behind and the company interest in front. He calls such a leader a level 5 leader. In other words, he did a research and he found that leadership exists in 5 levels. There is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5 leadership. Level 5 leadership is what is at the peak or at the pinnacle of the triangle. For purposes of our nugget today, we will concentrate on the leader who is a level 5 leader. These are leaders who are quite rare, but they are the leaders who will grow an organization from a position of just being good to a position of being great. From a position of just surviving to a position of thriving. And this is what we are going to look at today, because I believe I'm talking to you as a leader. What are some of the characters of a level 5 leader? A level 5 leader displays a mixture of personal humility and indomitable will. They are very humble, but they are strong-willed. It's what, in other languages, I would say, he or she is a person who is a go-getter. Whatever they want to achieve for this organization, they will do everything, whatever it takes, so that they can get the organization to the next level. Now, these leaders are incredibly ambitious, but their ambition is first and foremost for the cause. Their ambition is first and foremost for the cause that they are working for, or the organization that they are working for, or the purpose that they want to achieve. Their ambition is not to themselves. And as I talk about this, I'm reminded of one leader whose name was Nelson Mandela, the late Nelson Mandela. He was willing to fight. He was willing to put his life at stake for the sake of the nation of South Africa. It did not matter the pain that he was going through, but he was ambitious for the cause of the freedom of the South Africans. He wanted to see the South Africans being able to move freely, being able to operate freely, and being released by the colonialists at that time. He was a man whose interests were behind. He had a family, but he forgot about the family and was willing to be taken behind bars. And even after being released, realized he took leadership for a very short period. Then he was able to give it over to the next person. Why? Because what he had dreamt of achieving, he had already achieved. And so for me, this is a person I'd consider a level 5 leader. The other person I can consider in Kenya a level 5 leader is the former CEO of Safaricom, Michael Joseph. He comes into the nation when the mobile phones were not yet anything that was recognized in the nation. And he works hard, tirelessly. in putting every system in place. And once every system was working, he was able to release leadership to the next person who was now going to steer the organization to the next level. In other words, what I'm saying is that level 5 leaders are able to grow organization from surviving to thriving, from just being good to being great, and they are not selfish. They have the interest of the organization at heart. Now, these kind of leaders come in different personality packages, but most of them are reserved or even shy. They don't talk much. They don't show themselves off. They are people who are mostly quiet, and in their quietness, they are trying to work out solutions for this organization to move to the next level. You won't find them trying to praise themselves for few breakthroughs that they have found. No, they will be sitting and working on what is next, because they have, remember last time we were talking about a vision. They have a vision of where they are going, and they are putting strategies in place. And so most of the time, they are quite reserved, and they even look very shy. You can mistake them for people who are very timid, but they create results in organizations, results that are sustainable. They are able to motivate organizations more with inspired standards as opposed to an inspiring personality. What do we mean by inspiring standards? They will do their work in excellence. They'll do their work in excellence. Remember, I said that their personality is that one which is normally shy and reserved. So they won't inspire most people with their personality, but they will inspire people with their standards. They do their work in excellence. Any place or anything that they put their hands to do is not complete until it has been perfected and done excellently. And so they are able to inspire other people in the organization through their inspired standards. I said just a few minutes ago that the results that they create are sustainable. They are not just results that come in and after they leave that organization, it is forgotten. No, they are results that are sustainable. Remember Michael Joseph, the systems that he put in place in Safaricom can only be improved. None of them has been killed yet. They can only be improved. And so the results he was able to achieve have been sustainable over a period of years, ever since he left Safaricom. And no wonder the time when his successor, Bob Collymore, passed on, they could not get somebody else who would take up immediately. And so as they were looking for the next CEO, they had to reach out for Michael Joseph to come back and hold fort, even as they looked for the next person who was going to take over. Now, how do they how do they grow the organization from surviving to thriving? I talked about them looking at the aspect of disciplined people. Disciplined people. They are leaders who are in themselves disciplined, but they also look for disciplined people. What do I mean? They are the kind of leaders who get the right people in the bus and get the wrong people off the bus, and then figure out where they are going to drive the bus. I'll repeat that. They get the right people in the bus, then get the wrong people off the bus, and then they figure out where they are going to drive the bus. Now, this means that there are times when in our organizations, we have a mixture of people. A mixture of people. Some of the people we have in our organizations are not taking us anywhere. In fact, they're the ones who are dragging us behind. And these kind of people who are not taking us anywhere and are dragging us behind are the kind of people that as a leader you need to remove out of your organization, so that you will remain only with the people who are taking us somewhere, are disciplined people. What am I saying? A level 5 leader, or a leader that is able to move an organization from survival to thriving, is one who will ask themselves the who before the what. Before they ask themselves, what are we going to do? They ask themselves, who do we need on board to help us do whatever it is that we want to do? Who are we going to bring on board? And after they have known who they are bringing on board, then they will now start thinking about what they will need to do to move from survival to a point of thriving. They get the right people in the organization. Now, these right people might be coming from outside the organization. The challenge that we have, and let me talk as an African here today, the challenge that we have as African leaders is that when we create our organizations, or when we get to positions of leadership in our organizations, the first thing that hits our mind is how we are going to employ our relatives in the key positions of the organizations. The first thing that hits our mind is how we are going to bring in our tribesmen into the organization. And no wonder most of the organizations that we run do not thrive. Now, a leader who wants to move an organization from a point of survival to thriving does not look for employees only from their tribes or from their families. If from their tribes and their families we do not get the skill set that is required for the job that needs to be done, they will go out and look for qualified people, competent people, disciplined people. And so for you to move or steer your organization to a point where it will take a leap, you need to employ this aspect of getting disciplined people. They might not necessarily be talking your language. They might not necessarily be a people whom you have been friends with, but they are people who are competent, and they are people who have the skill set that you require for that job that you need done. Now, when you are recruiting as a leader, when you're recruiting or hiring employees as a leader, if someone has come for an interview, and as you're interviewing them, you are in doubt of whether this person will be able to deliver to the job that you want to give them. If you are in doubt, do not hire. Keep looking. Keep looking until you find the right person. Do not be in a hurry to hire until you are sure that this person that you have interviewed fits the job that you want them to do. Number 2, when you are in an organization, you have already recruited, but you realize that you need to make a people decision. You have realized that there are certain people in the organization who are not adding value to your organization. Do not keep postponing. Do not keep saying, I intend to remove them. Please act. Because the more you procrastinate, the more the organization keeps deteriorating. And so, be very slow to hire, but very quick to fire anyone who is not adding value to your organization. Number 3, put your best people on your best opportunities. There are opportunities that are on your way. Your best people on your best opportunity, not on your biggest problems. If you put your best staff on your biggest problems, they will lose morale. and burn out very, very quickly. So put them on your best opportunities as opposed to putting them on your biggest problems. Now, these kind of leaders also are those leaders who are able to create an organizational environment or culture where people are heard. People are heard. In other words, when someone has an idea, you give them an environment where they can be able to speak their idea. I always hear one of my leaders, the church where I go, our bishop normally says that people are things. People are things. People are wealth. You want to move to the next level, but let me tell you the truth. You don't have it all. You don't have the entire information. These best people that you have recruited are coming in with creative ideas. And so as a leader, give them an environment, give them a culture where they are able to speak their minds, then it can be fine-tuned. If you keep silencing them, then you might get the most loyal employees who would have moved you to the highest heights, keeping quiet with all the ideas that they have within them. And so create an environment where your people can be heard, and also a culture where the truth is always heard. A culture where the truth is always heard. I've served in various places or worked in various organizations, and I've realized that we have a caliber of people. This caliber of people most of the times are the people who do the least in the organization, but they are the people who spread grapevine the most. And so they will always be picking information that is not real and bringing to you as a leader. Endeavor to know the truth of what is happening. Never just take something wholesomely from somebody simply because maybe this somebody who was bringing you the grapevine brought it to you because they are feeling threatened by that person who has been working, and they are thinking the best way to remove them from you is through slander. So create an environment where people are able to talk openly, and a culture where the truth is heard. Where the truth is heard. I want to pass through 5 points very, very fast, and then I'll be gone out of here. The characteristics of a level 5 leader. Number 1 is humility. These are people who are very humble even as they serve. And whenever the team they're serving with, maybe you've placed them in departments or in sections in your company or in your organization, whenever the team they are heading is successful, they are very, very slow to take that credit for themselves, but they ensure that they give credit to the team they are working with because of their hard work. So humility. Number 2, a level 5 leader is a person who is quick to ask for help. Ask for help where? They will call upon expertise from stronger people in their area of need. There are areas where, as a leader, you feel inadequate. You can outsource. You can look for somebody who has the expertise and use their expertise to achieve that which you want to achieve. Now, that's another thing that level 5 leaders do. Something else that these leaders do is that they take responsibility. When their teams, the teams they are heading, or the organizations they are heading, have done mistakes or failures, they are very quick to take it upon themselves, to take responsibility for the mistakes and for the failure of their teams. Number 4, they develop discipline. They are very disciplined in their work. When they commit to a course of action, no matter how difficult the situation or the work is, they will stick to their resolve. And number 5, they find the right people. They depend on people around them. Therefore, they spend time looking and finding the right people. They don't just pick people. They spend time looking for the right people. And you know, I cannot end this without talking about, I said the last time I was a Christian, I can't end it without talking about the Lord Jesus Christ. When he was looking for his disciples, scripture tells me that he prayed for a whole night and then selected carefully. There were so many people in Israel that he would have picked, so many people in his village that he would have picked, but he was careful in how he picked his disciples, because he knew he wanted to pour something into them, something that was going to outlive him. Even after he would have gone, this thing would still be continuing. So they spent time to find the right people. Number 6, they lead with passion. When you demonstrate to your team members that you love and believe in what you're doing, they will too. They will too. If they realize you as a leader are passionate about this thing that you're doing, you love it and you believe it, they will love it and they will believe it. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been great talking to you. I'll be coming to you every month. And so look out for the next leadership.nugget that will improve our leadership during this season when we are leading, yet there is a crisis. How are we going to succeed during this crisis? And so you're welcome next time. Thank you so much for tuning in and staying on. And I believe that nugget of today will be able to help you move your organization or your department from a point of surviving to a point of thriving. Thank you very much and see you next month in the month of August. Bye.